I think Wario has had one of the most interesting journeys through Smash Ultimate's meta of any character in the game. Early in the game's life, he was an undisputed top tier and held the title for the most results between the most players. For a while it seemed everybody had a Wario in the pocket. Then, on March 4th, 2021, everything changed when the Nerf Nation attacked. Wario had his main super move, his waft, made much slower, and his up tilt, the most consistent way to combo into this devastating attack, had its hitboxes nerfed. These nerfs were a big hit to Wario's consistency, and the slow trickle of tough DLC matchups did not help.
Remember when everyone in Japan had a pocket Wario, but they all left after Wario?
Yeah.
Tweak, Kameme, Zachary, Abadango, they all had pocket Warios, and now they have all basically dropped him for other characters. Tweak mainly uses Diddy Kong now, along with the side of Sephiroth, citing Wario as inconsistent. Kameme rocks with Sora along with his trusty Mega Man. Zachary, when he does decide to play, is playing Pit of all things. And Abadango has gone back to his old main of Meta Knight. At the top level, only Gluttony remains, who holds an interesting opinion of his character.
The only matchups he wins is like Bowser.
But hey, if SkyJ has taught us one thing, it's that sometimes you only need one rep of a character to show everyone what they are capable of. So almost 5 years into Smash Ultimate, let's take a look at Wario's strengths and weaknesses and see if we should still give him a shot in tournament. This is the competitive crash course for Wario.
Here I go!
When you look at Wario's raw stats, you can see why he would be considered high tier. Sure, his ground speed is just okay, but you are at the absolute tip top of airspeed stats, attached to a character as heavy as Ike and the size of Kirby. This means you are hard to hit, and you live a long time. The only problem is trying to hit back. Most of Wario's hitboxes are absolutely atrocious. Take a look at some of these. Many of them have smaller hitboxes than the hurtbox they are attached to. This means there is no beating out other moves with Wario. You either weave your whole body around the opponent and dodge their hits altogether, or you settle for a trade.
No.
This forces Wario into the bait and punish archetype, whether you like it or not.
And be patient is trying to force your opponent to do a mistake in front of you and punish him.
This isn't as bad as it sounds since you have those beautiful speed stats, decent frame data, smash attacks notwithstanding, and some pretty devastating combo potential if you hit the right moves and have enough stage to play with. This lets you bob and weave, buzzing around the stage like a mosquito, poking and prodding with forward air and down tilt, not doing any real damage until you find your opportunity to hit your big combo starters like Nair 1 into 2, up throw at low percents, and falling up air. For more detailed or character-specific combo trees, check out the Wario Discord linked in the description. They'll help you out. If the opponent is being stubborn in their shield and not letting you in, you have Chomp to crack them open too, creating an infuriating mix-up for them of what you will land with.
Opponent, like let's say I'm Wario and I jump at my opponent. If my opponent stays in shield, Wario is ridiculous, right?
Once you crack them open, it's up to you to follow them up with everything you've got and back out before things turn on you. Eventually, you'll have to take some stocks. Your easiest ways of doing so being F-tilts at ledge, one of Wario's few good hitboxes, a stray back air at higher percents, an up smash out of shield, a down tilt into dash attack, however inconsistent it may be, and the biggest move, waft. Yes, waft was nerfed and is harder to hit now, but you should structure your game plan around taking at least one stock per match with it. It reaches a respectable stage 3 around 50 or so seconds, and grows stronger until it maxes out at stage 4 at 110 seconds, easily able to take stocks below 50% and opening some crazy 0 to death potential.
Goodbye.
Falling up air is your most reliable tool for confirming into waft post-patch, but you can get creative with new jab lock confirms, even though they are extremely frame tight. You could also use its armor to catch foes off stage with it, or utilize the faster stage 3 variant's much easier combo trees. There is enough time in a given match to get multiple wafts, so don't grow discouraged if you miss or have to use it to recover. And don't think you have to save it for the last stock either. After it reaches stage 4, there is nothing waiting is going to do for you. If we're going to give Wario grades, then speed is an obvious 5 out of 5. Yes, Wario's ground speed is borderline mediocre, but his decent frame data combined with the best of the best air stats mean he is outmaneuvering or at least keeping pace with everyone, except maybe Sonic. Which is good because that is the only way you are going to get in. Power is a 4 out of 5. Now I know what you're thinking, but he has waft! But the nerfs to waft viability mean Wario has to work a bit harder for his kills. Yes, Wario's combo potential is great, but those combos can be inconsistent and his stray hit damage output is pretty poor. Expect less than 10% per hit.
Nair isn't working. Your opponent is very mobile, like dashing back a lot or jumping away a lot. Wario starts to become a stray hit character, and a lot of his damage output is just lower than other characters.
With no real kill throw and questionable smash attacks, taking stocks without waft can sometimes feel like pulling teeth. But Wario does have a great recovery, letting him go out for some deep edge guards, and waft is not the only way to cheese someone out. Trust me.
Sorry.
Wario's defense is getting a 3 out of 5. He may not have any projectiles to set up zones with, unless you count Bike I guess, but he is a very small, very fast, very heavy little bastard with plenty of get-off-me tools and fantastic recovery routes, with Bike letting him essentially bypass most ledge trap situations. If his anti-airs were a bit better, he'd score a 4 easily. The best defensive characters set the pace of the match and force the opponent to approach on their terms. Wario cannot do this and forces you to be elusive to be defensive. And just because he's good at it doesn't make it ideal. Versatility is a tricky one because, as Gluttony recently said, Wario can deal with almost anything given his speed and potential damage, but it is not going to be easy. Big disjoints like swords have historically always been bad for Wario because of his crappy hitboxes, and while he can work his way through slower zones like Belmont or Sephiroth, faster sorties like Lucina or Aegis can swat Wario right out of the air. And characters with options that mess with or just say no to Wario's approaches and mix-ups like Ice Climbers or especially Kazuya will give you immense trouble. I think another 3 out of 5 is appropriate here. Hey, 15 out of 20 isn't bad, and while Wario's life has been made more difficult in this current meta, difficult does not mean impossible. Besides Gluto, plenty of Warios are still bubbling under the surface. New Jersey has BD Bean, Minnesota's Loaf just got top 32 out of almost 400 at Major Upset, number 12 in Texas Skits is still putting in work, Pneumatic is putting up big results in Kentucky, Hudo, with an H, seems to be the last surviving Japanese Wario and regularly places top 32 at tournaments there, and finally, if Gluto isn't enough French Wario, you can always give Crepe Salé a look. The million coin question here is, should you, the viewer, pick up Wario and give him a shot in this day and age? Well, if you appreciate high execution, high reward characters like Peach, Pikachu, or Sheik, but want a bit more weight and a once a match super move to help out, then I'd say yeah, go for it. Do not play this character if you play a low tier and want to move up the tier list for an easier time. It won't be. Wario makes you work for it every time.
And it is terrifying how hard you have to work versus a character that isn't considered nearly as good as Wario.
I'd also advise against picking up Wario if you don't have access to a lot of good offline locals or grind partners, as playing Wario online is borderline useless. However, if you're the type of player that gets off on outmaneuvering, outsmarting, and outclutching your opponents by finding just the right opening and making it count, then this character is definitely for you. Apologies for the long wait between videos, guys. I've been sinking lots of time into building my career as a lawyer, and surprisingly, competing in this game offline a lot more. How good do you guys think Wario is? Do you think the nerfs were detrimental, or are people overreacting? Let me know in the comments, and until next time, see ya!